Alright, what's up guys? Frank here with another video. Today I wanted to talk about how to quit your 9 to 5 full-time job and actually build a business, okay? And so this has been a very important step for me in my life, and I'm talking from experience, so I'm going to share simply what I learned so far from my own experience, okay? So let's go right in, okay? So the first question that you might ask yourself is why should you quit your job to actually create your own business, okay? The number one reason might be that you want to make your dreams, right? And for me, my dream have always been to actually have my own business, okay? Because having my own business means that I have the freedom to do what I want to do with my time or whatever. And so that was kind of my dream to build my own business. Okay. And so I knew that, like, yes, I was working a job, but I knew that working my job was temporary because I knew that I would create my own business at some point. And so for me, that was my dream becoming true. Okay. And so another point would be simply following your passion. Okay. You want to do the thing that you want to do. You want to do the thing that you want to do, okay? And for me right now, I really enjoy print on demand. I love working on my e-commerce stores or whatever. So for me, it's kind of a passion of mine, okay? Another point could be that you find your boss or your coworkers and you find yourself in a bad work environment, and so you want to kind of get out of this situation so that you can live a better quality of life, right? And so that's another thing. And another thing related to quality of life is that maybe you don't like your schedule and you don't like the working hours that you do, and you want something more flexible, okay? And maybe that's another point that is quite interesting to you. And so another thing is having to do the freedom to do what you like, okay? And so maybe you simply want more time for yourself. You see right now the business that I have, okay, is building passive income. And so because I have passive income coming in, I have the freedom to do what I wanted to do with my own time. I'm in control of my own time, okay? So that's a great thing to have. And another thing about having your own business is that you have the potential to make more money as well, okay? And so it might be more difficult, but the potential of making more money is way higher because when you're working a full-time job, you're limited to the salary that people that your boss or the company gives you, okay? And so there's a limitation there. And yes, you can always like increase your salary every year or so, but you see you're kind of limited, okay? It's other people limiting you in the potential of making more money. But when you have your own business, there's no limit to how much money you can make, okay? And so yes, you have to work more, and there's like it's up to you. It's up to you to make more money. But you see, the potential is there to make more money instead of being limited, okay? So those are a few points. Maybe there are a few points, but those are the things that were important to me, and so I wanted to share with you, okay? So now I'm going to share three options on how to quit your job and build your own business, okay? Three options that you can do, okay? And so the number one is actually what I did, okay? So basically what I did is that I worked a full-time job, okay? I worked uh, 40 hours a week. And what I did is that on the side, during my free time, I was building my business. Okay, so during the mornings, during the evenings, during the weekends, I was working my business. Okay, and so during the day, during 8 to 4, I was working 8 to 4. I had a full time job. Okay, I was working for a tech startup, and so I was working a full time job. But you see, in the morning, I had time to work on my business. On the evenings, I had time to work on my business. And during the weekend, I also had time to work on my business. And so the idea for this option is actually like have a full-time job, but use the extra time that you have to build your business, okay? And another important thing is that since you have a full-time job, you can use the income to actually invest in the business, okay? And so when you have this up when you're if you're choosing this option right here, okay, you can use the extra money that you make to invest in your business. Okay, for example, in my case, I was doing print on demand, and so I was using the income that I was getting from my full-time job and actually hired a designer to create design for my print on demand business. Okay, and so I was using the money to hire a designer, and while I was working my full-time job, well, my designer was actually designing design for my print-on-demand business. Okay, so that's the one thing that you can do. You can invest in your business. Okay, and so when your business is making enough money to pay for your living expenses, then you can quit. Okay, so the idea is to work on your business on the side, and then once it makes enough money, then you can quit. Okay, so that's pretty much what I did for my print on demand business, and I think it's probably the safest way. Okay, because you're not lacking any money. You still have an income, and you can use the income to actually invest in the money. The only thing is that with this option, sometimes time can be a little bit difficult because you have the full-time job that you have to work on, and sometimes maybe you have other obligation on the side. Maybe you have a family, and so you have to squeeze enough time to build on the business. Okay, so that's actually what I did, and I was very fortunate that it was pretty easy for me. Okay, so then there's the option number two, okay? And basically, option number two is if you're lacking time, okay, you can actually decrease your working hour or maybe find a part-time job, okay? So the idea of this option is actually simply find a part-time job, okay, and then the rest of your time you actually build a business, okay? So you might have less money to invest in the business, but you have more time to invest in the business. Okay, so it's kind of similar to the previous one. The only difference is that you'll have a little bit less money, but you'll have more time to invest in the business. And so it depends on what you really need. Okay, but the idea is that you work part time on your part-time job and another part-time on your business. Okay, so you'll have a little bit more time on the business if that's what you need. Okay, and so again, I would quit my job when the business is making enough to pay for my living expenses. Okay, and then that's what it is. You quit your job and then you become full-time on the business. So that's option number two. And then option number three is the what I call all or nothing. Okay, you do or die. So that means that you quit your job right now and you make the leap of faith to start your business. So it's like you don't know exactly what you're going to do, but you do all you go all in. Okay, you do or you die. And so I don't really recommend it because like it's definitely way riskier. And when you build a business, especially in the beginning, in the few months, in the few even the few years, like you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and the do or die mentality, it can work for maybe for some kind of personalities or some kind of people, but for me, I prefer having a plan. I like having a plan and sticking to the plan. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's something that you can do, and if you're comfortable with it, you can do it. I guess. I mean, there's not much to say about this option. I mean, it's simply what it is, right? You just quit your job right now and you build the business. You go all in. It's basically what it is. And so that requires you to be careful with your money, and but you have a lot of time though. You have a lot of time to build a business. Okay, so those are the three options. And then there's a few things that you probably need to keep in mind before leaving your job, okay? And those are kind of safety tips that I'm giving you, okay? Those tips actually come from my own experience, okay? And the first tip that I have for you is to have at least 6 to 12 months of living expenses in savings, okay? And that's because when you're taking the leap of faith and building your own business, you don't have the safety of having a full-time income. And so sometimes some months maybe you'll not do as much money as you like, and maybe some other months you'll make more money, and maybe some other months, like, it's not that safe anymore. You're not in a safe territory, okay? And so having some kind of emergency fund, if something goes unwell, is necessary, okay? and and having this emergency fund is not only for having a business. Like, you should have this emergency fund at all times, okay? Even if you work a full-time job, you should have some kind of living expense, should have some kind of emergency fund. Let's say, for example, that your car crashes or something, okay? Then you need to have extra money to pay for these things, okay? And so having an emergency fund can always be a lifesaver, okay? And so it's about using this money if, for example, like, your business is not doing well, then you still have some kind of fund to live on, okay? So that's the idea. And then another point, okay, is that if you're quitting your job, I would recommend that you have your business figured out, okay? If you quit your job, it's not the time to actually find out about your business, okay? When you quit your job, that's because you already have something that works. You already have some kind of results. You might not have like the full income yet, okay? But you should have something that you know is going to work, okay? You have some kind of proof. You have some kind of result. And for me, it was print on demand, my print on demand business. And so when I quit, I already have had my living expenses. I already have enough to pay for my living expenses. And so I knew that I had some kind of result. I knew that whatever happened, whatever would happen, like, I would have my living expenses from my business. Okay, I had these results, and so you should have the same for your own business. Another thing that you can do is actually reduce your living expenses if that's possible, okay? And so since you're making a leap of faith and you're going into unsafe territories, like, you should, especially in the beginning, reduce your living expenses, okay? So that you can survive if things goes on well. Again, it's all about safety. Since you're making a leap of faith, like, as being an entrepreneur, you want to be safe in your unsafety, if I can say, okay? Because being an entrepreneur is kind of unsafe. You have to rely on yourself, and because of that, like, you need to be able to survive, okay? And it can be only temporarily, okay? Like, I think you can reduce your living expenses temporarily, let's say for a few months, and then once you see that things goes well, maybe then later on you can increase again your living expenses. Another tip, okay, that I have for you is that if you genuinely feel ready to quit, or you have enough income coming from your business to pay for your living expenses, don't wait, okay? You don't have to wait. Like, I know that it's scary, but you should be able to make the leap as soon as you think that you can, okay? Speaking for myself, I quit in November of 2021, but I realized after that I could have quit way earlier. Okay, I could have quit way earlier, and that's because I was kind of scared of making the leap. Like, it required a lot of change. I mean, quitting your job is a big change. Okay, it's a big decision, and it can be scary, but, like, if you trust yourself, like, you should, as soon as you think that you genuinely feel ready, you should quit, okay? Because you see, I quit my job in November of 2021, but I actually think that I was ready to quit actually, like, in August of 2021, and I actually spent a few months, okay, a few more months still working on my full-time job, but I could actually, like, quit it on August instead of November, okay? It's just that I was scared, I was kind of hesitant, and, like, if I would to do it again, if I would do it again, I would simply quit. Like, don't wait. You don't have to wait, okay? If you feel ready, like you'll figure it out, and you have to trust yourself, okay? You have to trust yourself and make the leap. And so those are my tips for how to quit your 9 to 5 full-time job and actually build a business. Those are my tips, and these tips come from personal experience, okay? And so I hope that this video was helpful to you, and if you have any question, please let me know, okay? Peace.